Hi, my name is Angel Fuentes. I am the publisher at Panico Press. We are a collective of different artists, writers from all over the States and Latin America, and we delve in all types of genres. We love coming to Baltimore Comic Con because we get to connect with readers that actually look for new independent books, stories, and we love all that. And this is El Camacho.
Yeah, Emilio Camacho, one of the writers. The benefit that we have as being as a collective of different artists is that we are able to produce a lot of huge, limited, and different kinds. So we have all kinds of genre. We have two kinds of western: a horror western and actually a sci-fi steampunk western. We have some fantasy, some horror. We have some supernatural element. We have some historical fiction. We have some fantasy, medieval. So we are able to produce a different kinds of genres across the board with different writers. That gives a little bit of flavor to everything we do. So we get pretty much every single genre there's available. That makes it available to anyone who wants to see what we have, and then depending on what you're into, you'll be able to find something here with what we publishing with Panico Press. Yeah, so from the top you have one of our fantasy, Violent Descent. It's about an angel who's in charge of protecting sentiment and feelings and emotions, and one day she decides that she no longer wants that job. So you follow the story of what happens as a repercussion of her doing. We have what we have here. We have all the way at the bottom, Tear Collector. This is our gothic horror. It's about a woman, the widow, who collects tears of different strangers to reanimate the body of her dead husband. We have Grit and Gears, which is one of our westerns. This one is a sci-fi steampunk western. Our Panico Press present, it's our new collection where we showed three stories of three different genres. Our very first one has a sci-fi steampunk, a fantasy, which is a mix of like Interstellar and Inception, and a magical realism set in 1960s Vegas. So it has a little bit of flavor for different readers across of what we're producing right now. So from the top tier, it's going to be our medieval fantasy with some supernatural and some theology elements. It's set in Slavic mythology, so you have that flair. The creator, one of the creators and the artist, loved Conan books, so that's our extra large magazine styles because there was no other size that would hold all the art. A Cold Detective, one of our new ones, actually premiering here in Baltimore, is about a detective in the 1950s in New York whose clients are people who are dead. So he's trying to investigate what happened to them so he can actually bring some clarity to how they ended up dead. Uh, Hunt Leviathan, it's our fantasy action. It's monster hunting in the American Southwest. Two of the main characters work at a monster rodeo in Texas, and then they get an offer to go down to Mexico to hunt this beast, which should be easy for them, and it's an easy gig that turns upside down. That actually has a full story in a collection of short stories about what else is happening around the world with this world that overnight monsters just reopened and showed up. And the last one over there, Spore Lore, is our classic D&D kind of fantasy. It's about a spore chemist. So she is an alchemist that deals with mushrooms. And her sister gets into a brawl at a tavern. And when she tries to get her out of jail, the judge will ask her, if you do a quest for me, classic, then I'll let her go out. So it's what happens in that story. Then on the corner, all the way at the bottom, it's our second Western, one of our best sellers, Gunbreed. It's a collection of short stories in each volume. So that one we have 3 volumes out already. That one has to do with an undead sheriff who's in charge of protecting this town between Texas and hell. And each one is one author across all the stories, but each artist has a different flair. So each short story feels a little bit different. Above that is one of orcs. It's our another fantasy. This one is elves and orcs. In this time, the orcs are the good ones. And then if you think of Jonah Arc, that is one an inspiration that blends into that one. All the way at the top, 12 is another of our new ones. This is our historical fiction. Happens to you follow the 12 last hours of a man that's been condemned to die at the guillotine. So you follow what happens in those last 12 hours. And at the end, we have a straight sheep. It's, if you think about Squid Game, is a game being run by the mob. This guy is down on his luck, and he has no better choice to get involved. And what happens when he decides to do that?
You can find us at Panico Press on Instagram, Facebook, and panicopress.com.